I think my first big mistake was there was too much shade. My second mistake was I think I overseeded. And for some reason, I thought the more seed I get in the ground, the better. And I put a little bit of nitrogen in, like the first week I went out, put a little like powdered supplement over top of it, and then 2 days later, and I worked that into the dirt, and then like a week or two later, I came back and I broadcasted seed into it. Now the plants grew and they grew very well, and it was a brassica, but I overseeded. It was too thick, and they never turned to bulbs.
Yeah.
Um, which that kind of destroyed the whole purpose of why I was trying to plant it. And then because the seeds eventually choked each other out, the plants were dead by the end of I thought, hey, first frost hits, they're going to be hitting these plants. And they never did. And
Yeah.
they never turned to bulbs. And so there goes the whole late season portion of it. So I just completely overseeded. And since then, I personally don't have the ability to plant any food plots. Now, I do have a newer farm that I've been hunting now. This upcoming season will be my fourth year, I think. Yeah, my fourth year that I've hunted there, and no, this will be the fifth year. This will be the fifth year I've hunted there, and it's an amazing farm, great area, and I think at some point I'm going to be able to talk to the landowner about putting in a food plot. Now it's going to have to be small because he does have a CRP program in effect. He does have like farmers that cash rent off of him, so I can't get in the way of any of that. But if I talk to him about it, I'm sure he would be open to hearing it. He's the same guy who allows me to go in and do the hinge cutting projects that I've tried to implement over the years. But outside of that, I have very little experience with food plotting, and that's why I talk to guys like you and other guys who have a little bit more experience. So the failure thing though, that seems to be a no-brainer, right? Like if you start messing around with this kind of stuff, you're going to drop the ball whether you do a ton of research or not
Yeah,
at some
but
point.
100%. I mean, I think that was the biggest learning curve for me back in the day was I'd go buy a bag of quarter acre whatever, and then I'd look at it, okay, this looks like a quarter acre, and I'd get a third of the way through it and the bag was gone. And it was like that was one of the biggest things that you could plant it, it's going to come up, but it's not going to produce, and you're literally just wasting time and money at that point. So I think doing a little bit of research, measuring things out, and even the soil testing. I mean, if you have the money to go buy a bag of food plot seed, you have the money to go buy a little stick in the ground probe that'll at least give you the meter that shows you, hey, I'm 6, I'm 5, whatever. And then you can at least go off of that as far as lime and fertilizer goes. With planting corn and beans, I mean that's kind of in sunflowers too to some extent, that's kind of become a little bit more, I don't want to say idiot proof, but when we got these little single row planters, we kind of knew that nothing's really going to go wrong. Like the spacing's going to be what the spacing is. We're planting it in a row. We're not broadcasting it, so we know we're not over or underseeding an area. We can take these rows and we can make them this way or that way. Yeah, it's a lot of physical labor, especially if you're doing that many acres. It's a lot to walk, so grab a buddy and have a couple of them. But to me, they're so easy to, especially with that, we can take a 18-inch row, we can make it a 36-inch row or so on and so forth just by putting the spacing out. I've found enjoyment doing that, and the kids love doing it. The kids love helping. They'll grab the bag and they'll walk beside me and they'll fill the cup and whatever. So I mean, that's been a little bit easier than trying to dial in a 7-foot drill or dial in a pull behind 2-row planter. So some of that stuff for a budget friendly guy, man, maybe I'm just giving away secrets, but I think it's just something that everybody could enjoy. If you had I'm looking at an area right now, in my mind where I'd want to put one of these things in it. If it's 40 foot long and if it's 20 foot wide, and that's all you got to work with, what's it hurt to go try to work that ground up and plant several rows of something?